Alright, welcome everybody, Dutchman Mods and Repairs. Today we're continuing to work on our HVAC project. And the item I'm working right now is I've got a filter dryer. It's a 3/8 OD, 1/4 inch ID line that I need to go into here on the high pressure liquid line. So we're going to be adding that in somewhere about in here. One of the things, if you ever happen to be adding one in, obviously for me, the obvious for me, not for you, is the refrigerant's all out of the system. This is part of my evaporator coil leak that I had, major leak. Everything's out of the system, so you wouldn't just go cutting in a line if you had Freon in there. You'd want to get that minimum pumped back into the compressor and sealed off, or have someone come and vacuum it out of the system while you would do this, and then put your Freon back in. But this is a 2004 system. There isn't one currently on my system anywhere, not down by the condenser. Wasn't one in the old evap coil, so I'm adding one in here. So we're going to do this. We're going to Stay-Brite 8 solder this in, and so I'm going to go ahead and do some prep, get this situated, and we'll get ready to go. All right, I just got my line separated, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to tilt this bottom portion of my line here down when I solder the bottom side, and then I'll tilt it up and hold it up when I do the other side. And this is just to, even though there's the capillary effect that can pull the solder in there, I just feel a little bit better about having this down here and working on it. Let's get this part of our line cleaned up. Get some fresh copper exposed there, none of the oxidized stuff. That's rule number one. Be mindful of your direction, the flow. So here I've got an arrow on there. It's flowing towards the evaporator. So let me get the inside of this one cleaned up. I'm going to attempt just to get some emery cloth just kind of crammed in there. Remember, preparation is key with this. You don't want to shortchange yourself. Have a nice shiny copper, bare copper connection down on your line, and then the inside of this is all crapped up, and your flux and your doesn't do what it can do. Your solder won't flow correctly, all because you didn't prep the ID. So just keep that in mind. Looks pretty good. And when I've got some 99% isopropyl alcohol, yeah, that looks good. That's going to be away from the open flame. I don't need anything exciting up here in my attic. Anything on there? My fan. I think my fan at this point is just, it sounds good rather than feels good, because it's just blowing this heat right on me. Alright, we're going to get some flux on here. Again, remember, we don't need a lot. Make our connection here. There we go, that's good. And I'm going to get some, I think I'm going to use my little towel here. Right, bunched up there to hold that in place. This is a pretty tight joint. I'm going to soak down the towel right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat, and you don't want to heat towards, you don't want to be, let me get that side, see if I can get this bit down here a little bit more so you all can see. You're just going to be able to see what's going on, I think. I can't help the light, but I'm more after the good solder than anything. When you solder, don't blow towards the filter dryer, okay? Not what you want.
Cool. Fire, 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 fire.
We'll get that all wiped down, and then we'll get it lifted up and we'll work on the other side. All right, let's get this other side. I've already prepped everything of the filter. Flux in here. It's so hot in the attic that this Flux is basically already like running. This is pushed together. There we go. Got a lot of Flux there. All right. Let's do this. Just wetting down some stuff underneath there where some of that solder may fall down on. I don't want it to just drop on dry stuff. But I've got a little hairspray bottle right here. I'm just spraying things. It'll all dry off quick enough for sure. Get the sucker lit. By the way, the solder, that Stay-Brite solder will actually get warm up the, you don't want to be just holding onto a little stick of that with your fingers. That stuff gets hot as well as you're working with it. All right, I think we're done. I've got done what I wanted to do today. I got my suction line stuff coming tomorrow. That will be a different diameter soldering, but I'm happy with what I've got so far. So I hope you found this informative. Helps you out either with doing the job yourself or at least knowing how it's done. So when someone comes to do it for you, you can have a sharp eye on what's being done. Thumbs up the video if you like what you saw here. Subscribe and follow us as we work on things around the house, in the driveway, and everywhere in between. Dutch out.